It's a rare occasion. It's the shiny Pokemon of episodes.
Welcome to the cellar.
Friends of Disney, where today we're in a brand new setting.
Yes, once again, our usual recording space has been taken up, of course.
By a dungeon master and his guild.
And we didn't want to record in our kitchen again, so now we're in my building's wine cellar. So
where no drinking is occurring.
No.
But this would be a perfect place for a hint future episode.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of future episodes this is actually like really good for.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
But
that episode is obviously us covering the Cask of Amontillado.
What?
It's a literary reference.
We're talking about the Count of Monte Carlo?
No.
Anyways.
This episode, we're talking about the sweet life of Zack and Cody, episode 6.
Yes. 6.
The Prince and the Plunger. That is the name of the episode. I'm not just trying to make a joke. So, yeah, who wants to talk about this episode?
Wait,
first?
The name of the episode is actually called The Prince and the Plunger?
Yeah.
I did not. I literally. Okay.
Do I need to fact check myself?
No.
I feel like. Wait, oh, my phone's over here. Hold up.
She's going to fact check me, but I remember looking at the title this morning when we watched the episode. So
I don't actually ever read episode names, so I have no clue.
Oh.
Which is why when I went to go watch it, I was like, what number are we watching? Yeah, The Prince and the Plunger.
Okay, y'all. I'm going to give my controversial take now. The B plot with London Tipton and Marion Mosby is better than the A plot with Zack and Cody and the mom.
I agree with that. Yeah, so the main plot, Cary
has a secret admirer.
Yes, a gift basket shows up on her doorstep with a nice, lovely poem and stuff. And the boys are like, ooh, yeah, and some flowers. And the boys are like, ooh, who's this from? Mom, you should go back and start dating and stuff. And
the mom's like, are you boys okay with me dating?
Which, even though this funny didn't take it all that seriously, I appreciate that that's where like the mom's thought was, because single mom, divorced mom and stuff, raising kids and stuff, it's always that's naturally like a really big worry for parents. Like, how are the kids going to react to the parents dating again with someone that's not their dad, if they know their dad?
I honestly don't know if my mom watches this podcast, but if she does, please don't get salty with me. But making a confessional here, I have never really appreciated you dating when I was a child, and you never really brought it up with me, and I've seen you date a lot of men, and yeah, so having Cary ask her kids if she's okay with dating, kind of wish I would have gotten that same scenario, and I was very not okay with her dating.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
You had any thoughts on it?
I thought it was sweet, but I also wanted my parents to get a divorce. So, no comment.
All of our family structures are very weird.
Yeah.
But so
I'm just more focused that, like, if you're watching this episode, it looks like I'm just a floating head and then there's a body because my hair blends into like the brick color.
I mean,
a little too well.
Me looking at you, you got very like shiny hair right now. Like, it looks really nice.
Thank you.
Like, in person, it looks very nice.
Thank you. In video, it just looks like I'm a part of a wall.
That chlorine does works on your hair.
I don't think we've done a recording yet, but like my hair is actually blue. It's.
Did you have it blue for Descendants 3?
No.
Because we would have made a joke that she was Hades.
Oh, that's true. We would have.
No, I gotta like fix the hairline so it doesn't look too bad. Okay.
At least it'll be blue for Rise of Red, or you should just dye your hair red.
No. Well, okay, so technically it's purple. It's tanzanite purple, but tanzanite is actually a purple blue.
Fair. Anyways, back to Zack and Cody. So Zack and Cody go to Maddie at the candy counter and is like, "Hey, who got this gift basket for my mom?" And Maddie's like, "Ooh, I bet it was the new guy, Serge the Concierge." That's okay. That name,
Is
I don't know if they were
perfect.
trying to make the joke, but I can't help but see like they got lazy with that one.
Well, it's same with like Prince Shabalaba.
Shabalaba ding dong.
I swear there was.
Ding dong.
Yeah. I was like, I swear there's more to it.
Yeah. Well, so I didn't realize this episode was what it was until I heard them going like Prince or Princess Shabalaba Ding Dong.
Yeah.
Once I heard that, I was like, oh my God, it's this episode. And it was like core memory unlocked.
I I just kept laughing every time they went to go say Prince or Princess Shabalaba Ding Dong.
I was bored. I
Fair.
didn't care for this episode.
I felt really bad though for London in this episode.
Yeah, so the B plot in this episode, Mr. Mosby goes to London and is like, hey, your father has informed me that he's gonna be in town for the father-daughter dance this year. And London tries to shrug it off as if she doesn't care. Oh, I have other plans. And Mr. Mosby throughout this episode is like, no, he's coming. He's coming.
Like trying to hype her up, like be like, yeah, he's actually gonna be here this time.
And of course, at the end of the episode, he ends up not showing up because that's the whole thing with Sweet Life of Zack and Cody is that we never see Mr. Tipton's face until season 3 of Sweet Life on Deck. Spoilers if you haven't seen that after 10 years. And so, blinking.
It's kind of like in Frasier with what's his name? In Frasier, there's this one character. The wife's name is Maris, and she's always mentioned, but you never get to see her.
Or
Mhm.
Honey from The Incredibles.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, I wish I got to meet Maris. I like watching Frasier, even though it's a very outdated show, but like,
Yeah, but and so yeah, Mr. Tipton ends up not showing up and sends someone to tell London and
Like it was like a pretty like intense entrance too. Like they were on like the private helicopter of the hip Tipton.
yeah, and it was at that point London like got really excited too.
Yeah.
Because she was like, oh my God, he actually is here. He actually is here. And then some dude walks in and is like, he couldn't come. Something happened in Argentina. He goes, okay, what do you get me? Ooh, diamond necklace. And like Mr. Bosby is like inconsolably sad about this.
And London being like, because obviously even at the beginning of this show, it's only 6 episodes in, are obviously very close. And so she is like consoling him in the best way a teenager knows how to console people. It's like, give me a smile, give me a smile. And Marion gives like the most awkward smile ever, but like it cheers him up. And then we see later in the episode, he's like walking around his like hotel and he hears crying from one of the storage closets. And London is like crying into the linens. And she's like, I was just inspecting the linens. And whoever's like washing them is doing an awful job. You should fire them. And she like holds up like this white towel and is covered in her mascara.
that is okay. I feel like that's a common theme though in Sweet Life on Deck, obviously because we don't meet her father, but like how much he disappoints London.
It's an unbelievable amount. I mean, like I know there's a future episode where Mr. Tipton gets married again, because that's a running joke even in Sweet Life on Deck of like how often Mr. Tipton gets married and stuff. But there's one episode where his new wife actually is like part of the show, and
Tries to be the mom.
London's like, it doesn't matter. You're just another charm bracelet, another charm on my charm bracelet. And it just like he constantly lets her down, and Mr. Mosby ends up filling in for that father role and doesn't get any credit at all.
And I feel like this also proves, that like just because you are a biological father doesn't make you a father. Sean, I know you are going to be an upcoming father here soon. I believe you're going to be one of those actual biological fathers, but
Who actually shows up, unlike Mr. Tipton.
yeah. But, that proves that like just because he is your biological father doesn't mean he's going to act like one.
Yeah.
I want to add on to that. I related a lot to London during this episode. My dad was a traveling salesperson, I guess a lot like London's dad. Um, but work was always his priority. The way I describe it to people is like in his world, everyone is a client. So as long as you like fulfill like the role of like whatever that client is, he is like in a good standing with you. But in my world, he's a dad and he like didn't live up to those expectations. So I wasn't a good quote unquote client in his world and he wasn't a good dad in mine. And so we never got along. Um, except for like the few months where he didn't have a job because he didn't have clients at that point. So I understand London's like excitement that dad's gonna be there and then like disappointment that he's not. But and I didn't have a Mosby, but I also even as a teenager just knew like, oh, dad's just not gonna be there. Like it was like it would have been more awkward for my dad to have been there. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And like it leads to this really cute moment where like we all know Mr. Mosby is London's father figure, especially if you're seasoned with growing up with this show. And it comes like one of the very first moments where we start to see that coming because Mr. Mosby is like, I'll take you to the father-daughter dance if that's okay with you. And that makes her happy, obviously. And she, of course, makes a joke about it to break the tension of, you're going to change, right? Even though he's like in a suit and tie and stuff. But like, part of me kind of wishes, like, yes, that joke was funny, but I kind of wish they would have left the tenderness there because it's like the first moment we see of like London and Mr. Mosby actually like seeing how important to each other they are.
Speaking of this, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I wanted to comment on this scene because I was scrolling through my Instagram because I don't use TikTok, so I watch Instagram videos, and one just happened to be about this scene of like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and so it was like that scene of like her crying and then him comforting her, and then it like flashed forward to a bunch of scenes of like them in the future, like having their like father daughter like it's like found father relationship. Um, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I sent it to him on Instagram because I haven't seen this show fully through. So it was just like, oh, look at London getting older and look at Mosby saying the same.
I was just gonna kind of tie in that, like, I feel like my experience is kind of like a scenario of type A, like the plot A and plot B of this episode. Because obviously we know I've never.
This is
Oh, no, you're
this
fine.
hair is bothering me.
Oh my gosh, that's one of my older hairs, bruh.
Sorry, it's been bothering me for the past 5 minutes because I keep thinking it's a spider.
So I'm a cat, apparently. But you know, because we both know that I didn't have my father growing up. So like he was never there, he never wanted to be there. And then obviously my mom was with other men, and a lot of the men she dated, they wanted to fill in as this father figure. And I there was one I kind of accepted, you know, but I think that was just because he was around long enough, you know, that I just kind of got used to him in the house. But when I look back at it, he was a horrible person. And then I look at the other men that she's dated, and like even the person she's getting married to, you know, I think the person she's going to get married to, like, he's nice, but you know, I don't want to build a relationship with any of them now, because at this point I've never had a father in my life. There will never be a father figure in my life, and I don't need one now at this point, quite frankly.
I have no response to that.
I mean, it's our lives are weirdly all
Mhm.
twisted with how our families are.
Yeah, none of us have like the ideal parent-child relationship.
And I think that's one thing to like appreciate with Sweet Life of Zack and Cody is you do see more of these messy, complicated families. Because obviously Cary is divorced. London's father really could not care.
Well, and like if we go back to like the main plot of the episode with Zack and Cody the mom and Serge the Concierge, like you can tell really fast from Zack and Cody's point of view of this guy's not right. Like Serge takes ownership of writing the gift basket and stuff, and they're all happy about it or whatever. And then the mom comes and like the mom and Serge hit it off. He takes ownership of it. And he comes over to pick her up for a date. And while Carrie's getting ready, he's like, "Oh yeah, talk with the boys or whatever."
She's like, talk with the boys. He did not say
Yeah.
that. He didn't want anything to do with them.
And
I relate to the boys though, like
Mhm.
when they found out like he could not give a fuck about them. Sorry for or part of my French, I guess, whatever. But you know, that's how I felt growing up about some of the men in my mom's life was just like you're trash. Just leave. You don't care about me or my mom. Go.
I kind of relate. My mom, um, her job had her like actual job at our home, so she had like an office. And so there would be times where she's like, "Oh, I have to like finish this phone call, Megan, entertain these clients." And I could like 100% tell like which clients were like at least knew how to interact with someone younger than them,
Mhm.
and which ones didn't. So I kind of relate to Zack and Cody where they're like, there's a stranger that we have to interact with, and like it doesn't feel like
Well, even from the boys' perspective, this is the first person they're really seeing their mom date. They're like 10 years old, so they're not oblivious. And the first thing this person says to them that has potential of being a stepfather, because again, mom's dating, and that's always a potential with that, is shouldn't you guys go get ready for bed? Like, first sentence, go away.
And like, let's also make this perfectly clear. It's like a midday.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a bright day light out. It would be different if it was like night-ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and Cody's response Cody and Zach's response was like, yeah, when we were 5.
Or now if you're me.
And they said something they said it in some kind of
We go to
deep
bed when
voice.
it's like when it gets night or like dark essentially.
But
Mhm.
they like played it up. So it's like we only get our pajama llamas on when it's nighty night time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they knew pretty fast that something was up with them, and weirdly enough, the first person they go to is Arwin, the hotel engineer.
One thing I was gonna kind of point this out, but I mean this kind of comes later in the episode, I guess too. The one thing I really enjoyed out of the plot A from this episode was that it shows that like you could have a perception on like the facts that you were given and making a guess. But like who you think it is, like could be lying because Serge the concierge. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Serge the Concierge.
Yeah. He ended up lying about him writing the poetry note to Cary, and it was Arwin. And so, like, that shows that, you know, not everyone's truthful.
Yeah.
And that, you know, you should really try and line up all the facts and get a full understanding.
Well, and I appreciate basically the humility the boys took when it came to Serge versus Arwen, because they had a strong relationship with Arwen. Arwen was a goofball, the hotel engineer.
And the boys, they love Arwen.
They loved him. They didn't care whether what Arwen did about anything regarding what a lot of people tend to judge people on.
He cared about the boys, and the boys cared about him.
Exactly. So they were all for Arwen dating their mom and stuff. They may not fully understand that could lead to Arwen being stepdad, but they loved Arwen, and basically to them, Arwen was part of the family. Oh yeah, I fixed your game for you guys. Hey, those remote control cars that broke, here, I fixed them, turned them into war bots.
I think it's also very sweet where they have like that typical like a makeover scene
Mhm.
where like there's always like that person like in Beauty and the Beast, it's the Beast,
Mhm.
where they like try to make him up, and like so they're wearing different clothes and they get a haircut and they're teaching them like dinner etiquette or whatever. And for this particular makeover, they don't really try to change Arwen outside of like physical appearance. They're like, what you have on the inside is good enough. You just have to like talk, and you just have to do hygiene.
Exactly. And like,
And I know that Cody gets upset later, but he's literally like, Cody, he won't stop talking about plumbing. He just needs any other subject matter to talk about.
which is really cute because like they see Arwen's deficits and they don't shame him for it, but he's like, he needs to bring out some of those other qualities of his, you know? And like when he finally becomes truthful with Cary, I kind of dislike what Cary did a little bit. Like,
Oh, yeah, I was gonna bring this up. Like, because, like, even though she's not initially attracted to him and she thought the poetry is very sweet, you know, she didn't give him a chance.
well, and look at the difference between Serge and Arwen. She went full judgmental against Arwen. Blind face, she was like head over heels with the poetry, the flowers, everything. She saw Serge fell for him. It's like just on looks and stuff. Arwen, all she could see was a goofball, this and that. She didn't even like process how like the kids felt about him.
Well, and the fact that he was like very intellectual. I'm sorry, people, I can't talk. About the poetry, you know, so it's clear that he's into literature and he does have some technical aspects of him in skills and that he is a smart man.
Yeah, and he's like the classic good guy. You know, he's a goofball. He's weird. He like is awkward, nerdy a little bit, but he's genuine.
Like he's you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not a plumber.
And you're not an engineer.
But like
You could be with your job though.
that is true. But it's so there was one line that Serge made, and I told you about this, Megan, but so at this dinner date, it's like Cary and Serge's second date.
Or first.
No, it's the second date.
I thought it was the first.
No, because he took them out. He took the mom out or whatever, and they went to see Arwen. They figured out that Arwen's the one who did it, and they tried to confront the mom,
Oh yeah, so it's
and
kind
then
of
they go on another date. And so at the second date, the mom asks Serge, "Who's your favorite poet?"
like because obviously you wrote poetry, you gotta like poetry.
Dr. Seuss.
He said Dr. Seuss, but here's the thing that I found. This blipped into my head immediately, and I showed it to Maggie later on. There's an episode in Sweet Life on Deck, also season 3, where Zach is dating Maya and stuff, and when they got together, they were together through the rest of till the last episode and stuff. And Maya is a poet and got invited to read a poem at a poet event thing on the ship, and she at Zach like, "Oh yeah, I love poetry and stuff."
And Paloozas.
And Paloozas. And Maya's like, "Who's your favorite poet?" And Zach goes, "I'm more of a Seuss fan."
She starts like naming like Dickinson and
Wordsworth and like
you know all these like serious poets, and so it was hilarious.
it's just interesting where that callback existed.
I liked Dr. Seuss in his green eggs era, is what he said, and I was like, throw back to Taylor.
Yeah, but I can't help but feel upset that Cary did such a disservice to Arwen because all she could see was the goofball engineer, whereas even though he has the same playing field as Serge, and it's just
What was the line that she kept using that she gave to the boys with the broccoli reference?
nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah, so like literally the last few minutes of this before it goes back to plot B with London crying was she's just like essentially the nothing ventured, nothing gained is that she was essentially turning down Arwen and then she's like, but you have more fish in the sea essentially. And then
Yeah, at least you had the guts.
Well, and like nothing ventured, nothing gained. It's like you can shoot your shot, but there's always something to gain from the experience, you know? Like, look at what the date with Cary did in prepping. Like, he got cleaned up really nice and stuff. another girl took notice in him, and he was like, "Hey," like it gave him a constant confidence boost.
Well, and then he said back, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And then
Like there's nothing wrong with trying new things, shooting your shot.
but don't get me like, correct me if I'm wrong, but from me watching Sweet Life and Zack and Cody as a kid, and then a few months ago when I decided to rewatch the whole thing, it's kind of a continuous thing that we're gonna see as a theme that Arwin likes Cary.
Oh yeah, and that's carried.
That's like something I remember, and I didn't watch Sweet Life as a kid.
So that's something that makes me sad is that they turned Arwen from having this genuine interest in Cary and being a really nice, good guy, and they just made him obsessed with Cary and a little creepy, but in a lovable way. But it's still one of those things where it's like you had a genuinely good guy. You could make him more interesting than just he's head over heels for Zack and Cody's mom.
Yeah,
It's to me, it felt like a huge disservice to his character, knowing how the rest of how his character through the rest of the show plays out.
I wonder how I will react to Arwen because Sean and I have been rewatching some Pokemon, like old Pokemon recently. Nope.
Yeah. Well, we've been watching Gen 4 Pokemon, Sinnoh
Yeah.
region.
Yeah, and one of those characters is a man named Brock, and one of his like characteristics is whenever he sees a quote unquote a cute girl, aka a young girl, without being creepy, he
He confesses his love for her instantly.
with like big anime heart eyes, and there's a Krogunk that jabs him in the side and makes him stop, and then because he gets poison jabbed, he which is the name of the Pokemon move, he treats them like mostly normal human beings, and I cannot stand Brock. Because I don't know, maybe you relate to me as someone who is a female in this world. I've dealt with Brocks. So whenever I see Brocks on television, I lose a level of respect for that character.
I was like, I'm one of those very complicated people when it comes to dating.
Sorry, you're.
Oh, it's okay. I'm also still kind of in mid thought about it, but I kind of think back on Cary's experience. I've dealt with guys like Serge, and I think the guy I'm with now is more like an Arwin. I was like, I know you're gonna say it, but
You can see it in my look.
yeah, I've had a spectrum of all different types of men that I've have encountered with in my life, and it's just kind of I know what type of guy I want in my life, and yeah, you can't really judge a guy really on looks anymore because it what matters to me is their personality.
What's in here? What's in the heart?
Well, and so I don't want to sit here and talk as if I am the good guy similar to Arwen. I'll leave that to my wife. But it bugs me a lot seeing these genuinely good guys and how in popular media they're oftentimes made into
I was gonna joke.
lovable creeps.
I was gonna joke about the memes that are on social media about the good guys, and it's always just girls always want bad guys, and then it's just here I am playing video games, being the good guy, being the best friend, and you never ask me out. Those are so common that you see as memes on social media, and they're just and because then the girls because they're best friends, the girls just we're all the good guys, and then he's just right here, hi.
And we're talking about good guys, not the nice guy TM where they're oh my gosh, I'm so nice. I paid for your dinner. Now I want sex.
I have been on a date like that, and I hated it, and I didn't know how to get out of that scenario.
I was friends with those nice guys. I'm sorry.
Is it the one we shall not name that starts with a G?
Yes, it is the one that starts with a G.
Yep. Well, and so
And John is not a nice guy, TM, by the way. He is one of the the good guys.
no, thank you. Oh, thank you.
I would have laughed if you were just one of the bad guys and then did a Billie Eilish thing, start going out, I'm a bad guy. Do-do-do,
But like like you don't see the good guy really being a genuinely like great character. The only one I can really think of is Brooklyn Nine-Nine with Jake Peralta.
I can name you Achidi Adagonye.
Chidi Anagonia, yes, he is a good guy too. Yes, but like both of those shows deviated hard from traditional media content in very good ways.
Yeah.
But it really bugs me like when you see like Brock that was on Pokemon. In Pokemon, Brock's been there from like the first season,
Yeah.
season 1 through all of Gen 4.
Yeah. And he will get replaced by Silent in Gen 5, which controversial take. I like Silent more than I ever liked Brock.
But like, and then you have Arwin, which through all 6 seasons of Sweet Life,
There's 6 seasons of Sweet Life.
3 in the hotel, 3 on deck.
Also, I feel like I should clarify this for the podcast. The good guy scenario that Sean agrees with in my life is the guy I met at Applebee's.
That we kidnapped at Applebee's.
Yeah.
You guys know
That he was on one of our previous episodes, and if you have not watched it, watch it. It's National Treasure.
Jinx, you owe me a smile. Sorry, a lot of my coworkers don't drink soda, and so whenever we like jinx each other, I'm like, Jinx, you owe me a smile, and then they give me their cheesiest smile, and so our kids started picking up on it, and they'll go, Jinx, smile.
Yeah, I was like, so if you want to meet the boyfriend of my life, just watch National Treasure.
The podcast episode. If you watch National Treasure, you will not find Steve.
Guys, I'm dating Nicolas Cage. Show me this photograph.
And that dog in the fire, that's like, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Show me this graph.
I'm gonna Photoshop the Nicolas Cage picture right where your hand is now.
Yes. Please.
But
I love that. Sorry, it just makes me laugh so much of like, show me this graph. Because I'm a big math nerd. I loved it because like we would always have Nicolas Cage memes in like our classrooms with derivatives on them, and the derivative was on the graph.
mm-hmm.
I'm
Sorry, I'm not a math nerd. I'm a music nerd.
I guess I'm the only math nerd here.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I had a great night at the bar last night because I met another math nerd and we talked finance the entire time.
That sounds like
we can talk finance, but like I will.
That should be a whole nother episode. Of
We did accounting finance. Okay, so we were talking about GL codes and what type of journal entries you would need to make, and then we were talking about the CPA exam, and then I forgot the name of the finance exam. But there is a if you get your degree in finance, there's like this exam you can take that basically puts you as a prestige finance person. So we were talking about that and like what type of questions are on the exam and what type of math you have to do.
Anyway, Cary would shut one of these conversations down. Can you believe? Getting back to the concept at hand. Great segue, Megan. Thank you. I'll be here for the rest of the episode as long as my baby doesn't kick my stomach and want me to vomit everywhere.
Well, so it's clear that this episode is talking a lot about fathers in many different aspects.
Like, what does it mean to be a dad? Or like, not even dad, like what does it mean to be a male in a young male's or
in a child's life?
Yeah.
Because I got daddy issues.
We all have daddy issues that way.
And one of them is, how about I need you?
One of them is, I'm sad that Mr. Mosby wasn't my dad.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's facts.
So, like, would you say there was anything that this episode did wrong in regards to, like, how it addressed, like, father relationships or, like, father figure relationships?
Okay, I do have something that I like I've said before, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and its sister series Sweet Life on Deck. I knew they existed. I watched like a few episodes, maybe here or there, but as a child, I wasn't really allowed to watch TV for other reasons that we're not going to get into today. I wish we kind of knew what Zack and Cody's actual thoughts on their dad were. I mean, we're only 6 episodes in, but even if they were like, yeah, I'm cool.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now.
Oh no.
He shows up
What?
repeatedly.
What? Why do I have a feeling he's like a rocker and like he was in a band with Cary?
Because you're right.
I can't wait until we get into Raven's home because
The TV show?
yeah.
So just be careful with the cord.
Yeah, no, I'm
You don't want to mess with the cord. It may mess with the sound.
oh.
Oh, I have a lot of things to say about Raven Simone.
Let's save that for when we talk about Raven.
I was like
That's so
it's
Raven.
it's definitely going to be like something probably very, very future because there's a lot of things we still got to watch. But you know,
You can tell we were like, how many? We're only 6 episodes into this show after months.
yeah, all the way back in from January when we began, you know.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, like around the time I got pregnant.
Yeah, true.
We started this
6 months ago.
6 months ago.
Wow, we're already at 6 months in. This is crazy.
I know.
And we already have 100 subscribers. Shout out to you.
So please like and subscribe
And check out the Patreon.
and leave a comment.
And you can email us your favorite pet at
Link is in the description. But please, if you send us your spider, put spider for Megan.
Also, if you're wondering why this is being brought up, it's from the Lady and the Tramp episode where we did a live action versus animation.
We want to see your pets.
Yeah, I haven't seen any emails from pets, you guys. Show us your pets.
And soon we'll get to be posting on Instagram and TikTok more. Life has gotten a little bit busy for us.
Yeah. Fun fact, we have a baby on the way.
But in fact, we also all have full-time jobs.
Yep.
And I am
Full-time student.
part-time actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they consider in the grad program, I would be full-time if I was taking 4 classes per semester.
But anyways, back to my question at hand. Did this episode do anything wrong towards what the topics it indirectly addressed?
You know, I don't think I paid attention to if it did anything wrong. I was paying more attention to London and her feelings and Arwin. You know, I think those are just the 2 main things that I was focusing on.
Oh, we never did explain. So during the second date between Cary and Serge, they basically try to distract Serge with his job as the concierge to get Arwin to basically crash the date.
Oh yeah, this is the part where we talked back on the shabba labba ding dong thing.
Yeah, so Maddie basically helps the boys with getting Serge distracted, and they're like, Cody calls us like, "This is Prince Shabalaba Ding Dong. My wife needs goat milk for her back."
Bath.
For her bath.
Oh, I
Bath.
thought he said back.
No, it was bath.
Oh.
And then once he finishes grabbing like all the goat milk, they call back and then they're like, it was Princess Shabalaba Ding Dong. And then she was like, my husband, Prince Shabalaba Ding Dong. It's a ding dong and I wanted llama's milk. How did he? It was like one of those fun little comedic breaks.
Ew. I hate that it used as much humor in this episode as it did. Like, there's a lot of like pretty important topics, like London's relationship with her dad with Mosby, or the boys having Cary date again.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they just used humor to break the tension unnecessarily when it was like really heartfelt moments.
Yeah, I totally agree that there was like some tonal dissonance. Wow, look at me bringing in like some vocab cards, y'all.
Nice.
I need to. Okay, I'm not very good with English, so
Let me break it down for you. So tonal is like the tone of like the episode is very much like this tender heart slash like kind of like angsty like mom is going out again, dad might be coming, so it's like an anxiety and like this like peak of like like, is the person the right person? Is dad coming? And then there's like the angst of like, no, he's not coming. And no, that one's not the right one.
Oh, I was just gonna point out I'm never gonna throw in vocabulary words because
And then dissonance is like
The use of the humor to break it up.
yeah.
I know what that is.
I'm just breaking it down for no one else to know because I would be that person who's like tonal dissonance. What's that?
Yeah, I'm the person who's gonna give you kindergarten words because vocabulary is not my thing.
Be completely honest, it's third grade. Third grade vocab.
I'm used to people telling me I have to explain things like I'm talking to a kindergartner. So, like, literally at my job when we're writing procedures, it's like explain it as if you handed it to a kindergartner. So, if you die and someone had to do your job, a kindergartner could do it.
That's
Which,
fair.
to be fair, I don't think kindergartners could do my work.
Maybe
Because
first grader.
no. Okay, our instruction sets are definitely not written like they are meant for kindergartners or first graders. So I've been working on redoing them and making videos of everything that I do so someone can actually visually see what I am doing as I'm explaining it.
Jonelle does thankless work, everyone.
I also started another project at work, which I now have to add an integrated if function with the VLOOKUP in Excel. Yeah, I'm gonna go on an Arwin spree apparently.
Yeah, this is you.
So basically, in Excel, a VLOOKUP is it takes the cell that you want to look at, and then you say in cell A2 from this table over here, I want you to look at column H to match it with the function from the cell that you're trying to look at and look for a keyword and spit out the information from cell J.
I totally get what she's saying. Are you not following along?
And so I'm going to have it do what I need it to do is identify a keyword that is associated to a GL code. And then that GL code says that if it is this keyword, this GL code needs to be split into two different GL codes. So when you find that information, you take the cost and you spit out 15% goes to 305 and 85% goes to 1110. And that still sounds very confusing, I realized.
I got about 85% of that.
Kindergarten.
Awesome.
What happened to kindergarten words, Jonelle? Anyways.
This is why I'm making videos of what I'm doing, because I have a hard time explaining that other than showing it. And this is still in the workings of me doing this at work because no one's really done this at my job.
That's fair. But anyways, Zack and Cody.
I was a nerd. Sorry, I'm an Arwin talking about the toilet.
We're all Arwins in some way.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on philosophy.
And then
Don't get
Sean
started.
I remember one of our conversations we had in college. We were eating lunch together and
Predestination.
Oh, yes.
I
yeah,
remember you guys having this
I used to
conversation.
be a theology major.
and we had a list of questions that we would ask God because we were talking about like what type of questions we would ask God because there's so many unknown questions.
Oh, yeah. I have like 5 more that I added to the list recently. But with that being said, yeah, I used to study theology. So I used to, and like specifically like Christian theology. So the study of like that God. Turns out I'm an atheist. Didn't learn this until senior year of college. So that degree is useless to me.
It's okay. You still got a college degree.
But yeah, one of Jonelle and I's first conversations was about predestination, which is the idea that no matter what you do in this life, you're destined to go to either heaven or to hell.
And that's already been determined no matter what.
Yeah. So you could be a saint and you could be still given to hell. You could be the worst person on the planet Earth and still get into heaven. And then there's something called double predestination. We're not going to get into that.
We'll save this for the Hunchback episode when that comes in the long future.
Well, now I have a question about double predestination.
We'll talk after the episode.
I was like, I get intrigued by this stuff. And then I know you go on a lot about music.
I can't help it. It's fun.
It's
But to be
okay.
fair, I haven't gone on a large tangent about music since.
No, you've just been going on a large tangent about CNA stuff.
Like in our conversations, yes, but that's
Yes.
my job as a nursing assistant.
Yeah.
I was like,
so-
we got pretty heated in that last conversation.
Sean's two like big like there's like three huge things that Sean is very big nerds about, and that is music stuff, that is stuff about specifically his work as a CNA, and then there's stuff about like unions.
I'm very knowledgeable on unions.
So like, but he's like super passionate about it.
So Disney, that's like a big forefront for all three of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why we're all three here today, right?
But like all of us have like those niches where we're very much Arwins. So I guess we all like relate super hard to like
Yeah.
I would put union stuff more with my job because my job happened to be union beforehand. I really couldn't care less.
Mine's just business. I mean, I don't really go full on Disney, that much. I like watching Disney, don't get me wrong. So
Until we see merch.
merch.
Loungeflies.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Loungeflies, yeah.
Yeah.
We love loungeflies.
Yeah, they're so cute. But I think I go on a lot more different. Like recently, me and Justin have been going into tangents because we've been watching Dragon Ball Z
Mm.
after finishing Dragon Ball.
Rest in peace, creator of Dragon Ball.
And like I just have so many more like theoretical questions on things.
Me and Megan have been on a Star Wars kick.
Yeah.
I've watched the first three Star Wars movies. I understood the first one. And so we're watching all the Star Wars movies again, so I could actually understand what happened this time go around.
I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm now realizing. So yeah, maybe in the future we'll do a Star Wars thing. So, anyways,
What would you declare me a nerd of?
for what?
Well, we went on the
Like interests and stuff?
Yeah.
yeah.
Or Arwinisms?
Yeah.
Like, I threw you under the bus for three things, so you can throw me under the bus now.
For you, philosophy. So I want to say philosophy because like you really enjoy philosophy.
Oh,
You-
children.
But
Yeah.
I would say here's the thing. You do talk about, I would say children more on a practical level because that is your job. Like you work in childcare. You like discussing philosophy indirectly. So like you're not like, ooh, I read this thing from this philosopher, blah blah blah. But like we have a lot of discussions about like interacting with people, ethical conundrums and stuff in practical life, which is a huge thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Am I allowed to throw you under the bus?
About what? Oh, yeah. You can throw me under the bus.
K-pop. She loves K-pop.
I was just about to say K-pop, man.
Okay.
She loves K-pop.
Let's reverse it just a little bit. I know like three bands in K-pop, and I really love those three bands. I'm not gonna say what
Is
band.
this me with Post Malone?
Yeah,
Yes.
I love
And then another
Post
thing
Malone.
for us is also Taylor Swift.
we do like Taylor Swift. I'm also a huge big fan of well, obviously Disney, but I really like the theme parks of Disney. I'm a huge theme park gal. I don't go on a lot of rides, especially now that I'm pregnant, but I love theming a lot. And I like one of my dream jobs is to be a Imagineer at Disney. I think that'd be so cool. I don't have any of the qualifications to be an Imagineer at Disney, but like that would be like
Oh, speaking of which, I actually had a conversation with a guy at the bar last night about Disney parks because him and his wife recently went to Disney World and they were talking about Disney Magic Kingdom after hours. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and so he was talking about how most of the buildings were white because of the fact that you could project things onto white buildings a lot better. And then he was talking about flying Tinkerbell and fireworks. And so, yeah, we had a very long conversation about our experiences at Disney World.
If you want us to have an episode where we talk about specifically like Disney World and Disneyland,
even
Our
if it's just, like-
experiences.
yeah, our
Let us know.
experiences or like what things fascinate us, because I could talk like I could have a whole episode based off of the Haunted Mansion,
she really could.
because like if you haven't heard, the Haunted Mansion has a really deep lore, and it's not just like it was built, but like there was like delays in it, and so there was like five different Imagineers that like took on the project, and then Walt Disney died before it was built. So like it's a crazy.
Finished before it was finished because he knew it was going to be there from the beginning.
Yeah, the building was built, but there wasn't a plan to what was going to go inside. Yeah, and so there's also there's like different versions at each park internationally.
Yep, it's one of the few rides that is at every like Disney park worldwide.
But
But
since
it's also very different from like each iteration of it.
because everywhere has like a different way of like viewing like the supernatural,
Mm-hmm.
and so something that would fly here in the western states, the
Won't
western.
fly in the eastern
Yeah, no. So,
side of like the world.
oh, we're totally running over.
Yep, but that's okay. So
Well,
yeah, we talked about all we could with this episode. Really, I think we unpacked it as much as we could.
With some side tangents.
But
I mean, side tangents though are kind of fun to listen to.
Yeah, especially like with these. Oh my.
oh yeah, I agree. I love our side tangents.
I was like, it also helps. I mean, we'll probably talk about this
Mhm.
afterwards, but you know,
Yep. Well, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let us know if you like this scenery or if you want us to go back to our usual conference room-ish setup. But
or I mean, I'd prefer if you guys didn't like the apartment because we don't like. Yeah, we
It's
get a bit distracted in there, I guess.
there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, there's cats, there's a lot of other things, and
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode on Zack and Cody, and we can't wait to see you guys next week.
bye.
Bye.